we go. It's another edition of Rock Talk right here on CGCM Rock Radio, where we talk rock because that's how we roll. My name, as always, is Bob Bannister, and joining us this time around, Jimmy Berdine from the band Kickin Valentina. How you doing, bud?
What's shaking?
You know, it is what it is.
Lovely Monday afternoon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you're a busy man right now. You're getting ready to head off on tour over to the UK with some friends of ours, some other friends of ours, the Midnight Devils. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it should be a crazy cool time. We have 12 dates booked over in the UK. I've known Sam and Jimmy for a couple years. I knew Jimmy when he was in another band too. I'm from Chicago, actually, and I think at the time Jimmy was in a band from Chicago. But yeah, it should be fun. Should be a little crazy, and hoping that some of these turnouts are awesome. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, Sam was just saying that they were just fresh off tour from Australia and Japan, and then it's like home, do laundry, pack, and go again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Slept the whole time while the washing machine does all the work, try to catch up, and then off you go again.
Absolutely. So would you say it's easier for American bands or North American bands, let's put it that way, to tour in Europe than it is vice versa?
The only thing I really know about the difference is the three major things that I am educated on. One, it's tougher for, like, say, a band from Europe to come to the United States due to the visa laws.
Right.
I guess the visas are ridiculous to get into this country. Shocker. I just tell all my buddies, if you want a tour, just go ahead and fly on down to Mexico and just drive the bus across the border. You won't have to worry about visas.
There you go.
Number two, the United States is massive, man. You can go to Europe and you can book tours 2.5, 3 hours apart from each other and never see the same people at some of these crowds where, say you play Atlanta, you can draw from Chattanooga and Birmingham and South Georgia and the Carolinas. If a major artist comes through and they're not playing in any of those states, people usually, drive over. And, also over in Europe, which is different than here, is early week and midweek shows can be just as packed out and just as crazy as a Friday or Saturday night, where here in the States, everybody's our weekend warriors, Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday.
Absolutely.
So
same way here in Canada.
Quite different. Yeah. I mean, quite different from, how we do things over here in the North American region.
Absolutely.
So,
and
people overseas, I think Rich will tell you this too. They're maniacs for the rock and roll over there. Over in Scandinavia or Europe or even the UK, that whole scene is very, very it's very close to what it was like in the late 80s, early 90s. Not necessarily the musical sound or the way the bands sound, but just the excitement about going to shows and the excitement about seeing a live band. We could play on a Wednesday night in Blackpool, England, and put a couple hundred people in a building, where if we were to play, like, let's say, Indianapolis, you're performing to a dozen people and a couple crickets.
Yeah. and that dozen people is probably the wait staff.
Right. If you got a crew with you, a girlfriend, maybe, family.
But all in all, though, would you say that we are in the midst of a rock revival here in North America, getting away from the prefab pop and other stuff that they're trying to cram down our throats?
God, I hope so. I'm tired of all the other garbage, man. I mean, no disrespect to any artist or any genre of music that people like, but it's just not good.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Now, I got a question for you here. This was before my time with CGCM Rock Radio, but I keep hearing rumors and not rumors, but I keep hearing stories of your band taking over the airwaves of CGCM Rock Radio.
Did we do that a couple years back? I think we did that a couple years back.
Yeah.
It was fun. Yeah, that was fun. It was, I mean, I'm not quite sure I remember it back then. I was a little crazier in my youth, but it was fun. I remember that. I think we all all had to pick like 10 songs or something like that. And it was like a long 2-3 hour show or something like that. If I
Right.
remember correctly. I have a hard time remember yesterday these days, but whatever.
Hell, I can't remember what I had for lunch.
Can't even remember if I had lunch.
There you go. So I got to say, I am absolutely loving the album Star Spangled Fist Fight. Dirty Rhythm taking a ride, both doing really, really well on the CGCM Rock Radio Top 20 Countdown. And by the way, listeners and viewers, you can still vote for that. Just head over to our Facebook page. Anyway, getting sidetracked there. How musically different is Star Spangled Fist Fight from, let's say, Revenge of Rock?
Revenge of Rock to me is a little lighter, a little more commercial. Not quite as sleazy of a record. It's more of a, in my opinion, if you want to compare, more like like more of a Bryan Adams style rock and roll, which is fantastic. I love Bryan Adams. Where Star Spangled Fist Fight to me is getting back to like our imaginary creatures kind of LA Sunset Strip, dirty, nasty, gritty, party rock, if you will. I don't know, man. I'm really happy with this record, the way it turned out, man. It took us a minute to write it, but I changed up how I play my drums on this record a little bit, and I think the production is amazing. Andy Riley, our producer, overdid himself. The melody lines and the choruses are super catchy. So I like how the structuring of some of these songs where our verses are really sleazy and gritty, and then you have that commercial sing-along kind of anthematic chorus line in it. So out of those 10 songs, we're playing 8 live now. So, we're really running through the whole record. The only 2 songs we're not doing live are the first song, Getting Off, and Died Laughing, which those can very well be thrown on the set anytime. But, we have songs from other records we got to play. So, when people ask, why don't you play that one song? Well, because we only have 60 minutes. Oh, we only have 75 minutes. We can only stick so many songs in a set. I can't imagine what a band with like a, 20 album catalog, trying to pick songs for a tour. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. A
like
band like the Stones or something.
Yeah. And a lot of those bands, some of them, Springsteen, who else goes out and does 3-hour shows. I mean, Y&T's actually doing, they go out by themselves now and they do like 2:15, which is cool because, they got so many albums and, Dave and his boys are just amazing anyway. So,
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, like Rush would go out by themselves and do 2.5 hours. So, I'm not sure I want to do 2.5 hour sets, but, it's getting to a point where, we have to discuss what we're going to put in our set. So, I'm glad that this tour we're throwing a lot of the new stuff and we're playing a lot of new record because it's kind of almost me. I think this new record's almost another evolution of our sound. So I'm happy with it. I love the record. I listen to it all the time. I think it's great, but could be a little modest there.
A little biased, yeah. But hey, that's great. That's great. You got to be. Yeah. And you just answered my next question about what fans can expect when they go to see Kickin Valentina live. I mean, it sounds like a whole lot of fun. One big party.
Yeah, when our hour set, which is like 11 songs, I think there's 6 or 7 in the new songs, and then the 75-minute has 8. We try to represent each album at least with a song. I think there's 2 off the first record, one or 2. Well, there used to be 2 off the second record too, but we're not going to do Burnin' Love on this run. Then we'll do 1 off of Chaos, and then 1 off of Revenge, maybe 2. Actually, I think we're throwing this run over in the UK. We're going to do 2 off Revenge, and then the 6 to 8 off the new record. So, everything's represented in the whole catalog, which is cool.
So what's the creative process like with the band? Is it somebody gets an idea and then brings it to everybody else, or do people tend to come to the band with a fully written, fully produced, or not, I shouldn't say fully produced, but fully fleshed out song?
I can't tell you the last time we came to the table with a full song, but no, it kind of just starts out, in our studio. It's weird how we write because it's like, we don't spend too much time on a song. Like if it works, it works. And if it's the energy for the song and the idea of the song's flowing, we go with it. But it really just starts out with like maybe like a riff or we just start jamming on something and we're like, oh, that was cool. What was that? And take that little piece away and then we work on something else. And maybe that piece fits with that piece. It's like a jigsaw puzzle sometimes, but and then we, once we get a song written, I mean, we sent DK probably for Star Spangled. I would say we're in the 20 to 24 song range that we sent out to California to him to work with. And I think we ended up recording 13 songs. 3 didn't make the record. But they got fully mixed and edited and produced and all that stuff too. So we have 3 in the holster if we want to use those on the next record. It's weird how we do things. It's fun. It's frustrating. It's, pisses us off. It makes us happy when the end product is there. I mean, it's just weird. There's no really set formula on how we do things. It's just what we feel from the heart. We play the kind of music that we like to play. Everybody in this band has different influences. I think especially on this new record, you can really hear the different sounds of everybody, where myself, I tend to lean more towards some of the heavier stuff. I like a lot of the Scandinavian metal bands, a lot of the newer hard rock bands like the Volbeats of the world and Godsmack and stuff like that. And I also really get into like, Eclipse and Heat and Hardcore Superstar and bands like that from overseas. Whereas, my guitar player, he's very Jakey Lee, Kiss, Cinderella. And Chris is definitely a underground punk, punky kind of, I don't know what you would call like Turbo Negro and stuff like that.
Right.
And DK's Sunset Strip, he's Hollywood.
Yeah.
So it's just a mixture. You put that all in a blender and hit frappe and you get Kickin Valentina. So it's interesting, man, but I'll tell you what, I really enjoy touring with my guys. I love the other 3 dudes in my band. We have a great time when we're out on the road for the most part. When we're on stage and we're really firing on all cylinders, man, it's awesome, especially in some of the bigger crowds that we get in front of over in Europe, man. The energy there is just like, whoa, this would be great. If there was like 25,000 in front of us instead of, 2,500 or 250, but to be honest with you on that note too, the smaller shows are some of the funner shows, a little more intimate. You get to meet everybody. It's nice and hot and sweaty. It's rock and roll,
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah,
have you ever had a moment on stage? Like I remember reading an interview one time with Stevie Ray Vaughan where he said he was out there on stage and he's playing and next thing he realized he was kind of having an out of body experience, kind of looking down on himself, watching himself play. And then he listened back to the tapes because he used to record everything that he would like all of his shows, and he realized I don't even know how to play that. How did I do that? You ever have any moments like that where you're just kind of like, whoa, how did that happen?
Not really. I have had 1 or 2 times that we've played where I was on stage or getting ready to go on stage and climb up, from the back behind the drum kit to go on stage, and you look out over the crowd and go, holy shit. I wish my dad could have seen this. You know what I'm saying? Like some of those times you're just like, man, I wish my mother was here, my dad was here, or some of those assholes in school back in the day that used to, give me shit. Oh, you'll be a rock star, that kind of garbage. And just, be like, see that? I mean, there's a couple times that I, climb up and I'm like, holy shit, this is badass. This is straight, what I wanted to do. And, let's have some fun. And then we just get into it, and it's, it's a big party after the show. So yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so it's fun.
So what's on Jimmy's personal playlist these days?
Kickin Valentina, Star Spangled Fist Fight.
Good answer.
Yeah. What's on my playlist? What do I listen to a lot of? Man, to be honest, I listen to a lot of Pretty Maids.
Mm-hmm.
I really love those guys as friends and as a band. I'm so glad they're doing shows again together. I listen to older hardcore Superstar. I really like 2 or 3 albums from Eclipse. Eric from Heat / Skid Row / every other band that he's been in. I really like some of his records. That Heat 2 album is with Victory and Heaven Must Have Sent an Angel and all that.
Yeah.
What a record that is,
Oh,
man.
wow.
Holy
Yeah.
shit, that's an album. Yeah, it's a great record.
Agreed.
Yeah, my buddies in the Cruel Intentions are badass too. I really like listening to those guys. They got that whole nasty, gritty, sleazy, LA kind of sound going for them, so I listen, like I said, I listen to a lot of the Scandinavian rock scene, I guess, bands. My buddies in Junkyard Drive, they're our label mates over in Denmark. They're great. Like I said, some of the Ghost, Volbeat, Godsmack, that's some of the more modern stuff. Really haven't gotten anything like super, super new yet. Some of the stuff that's out that people are raving over, it doesn't really tweak me.
But you just named about 80% of the CGCM Rock Radio playlist right there, so it's all good.
Yeah, I did. Some of the stuff that's circulating around on like modern rock radio right now. I've tried, but I can't tell the difference from one song to another and which band is which. I always give a good friend of mine, Morgan, who plays for Seven Dust, the drummer for Seven Dust. I give him a hard time. I'm like, when are all these bands going to start breaking you guys off some royalty checks for them copycatting you guys from the mid 90s?
Yeah.
He's like, no shit, bro. Like everybody. I'm like, I know exactly. So, which is fine. It's all good, man. And what's popular in the States isn't so popular in Europe. And obviously the European bands haven't caught fire over here. I really, I know that overseas they want to see American rock and roll, and then when a European band comes over here, they're like, European rock bands. I don't know. Everybody's got different tastes. So if you're happy with what you're listening to, it's all that matters, right?
Exactly. And then there's the Aussies, and that's a whole other scene unto itself. That's a great scene down there. They've got some great stuff coming out of Australia right now.
Yeah, I don't know much about Australia, but
you should look into it. I think you'd really like some of the stuff.
Yeah.
So before we wrap this up, I like to do this little thing called this or that. I'm going to give you some multiple choice questions.
Okay.
And just rapid fire. You give me your answer, and we'll go from there. All right. We're going to start things off. CD, cassette, or vinyl?
Vinyl.
Italian, Mexican, or Chinese?
Italian.
Iced coffee, iced tea, or iced water?
That's a hard one because iced coffee's gone. I'm a sweet tea junkie, but there's nothing better than a nice cold bottle of water when you get off stage. So sweet tea and bottled water tie.
Okay, that works.
All right.
Pool, beach, or water park?
Man, I would have to say the beach.
Right
I like the ocean. I like the ocean. I've scuba dive and stuff like that. So it's, the ocean.
Video games, board games, or card games?
None of the above.
All right.
And I don't play video games. I think the last card game I played was on a train from Copenhagen to Hamburg with DK, and we played about 20 rounds of Uno. and board games are, when I was a kid, so yeah.
All right. And finally, the big dividing question here: pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Negative, sir. I'm from Chicago. Blasphemy.
There you go.
Deep dish all the way. And, the most important one was blonde, brunettes, or redheads.
Of course, absolutely.
And that would be a Neapolitan treat for me. So all three.
We'll include that. All right. Jimmy Berdine from Kickin Valentina. What's the website?
www.kickinvalentina.com. You can also check us out on our Facebook page. We have a Instagram page. We have, don't know why we're doing this, but we have a small little TikTok page. Yeah. We're all over social media. We're all over Spotify. You can stream us in all of the streaming formats around the world. You want to pick up some CDs, some vinyl, some merch, go to our merch store at kickinvalentina.com. If you're over in Europe, you can go to mightymusic.dk. So you don't have to worry about the ridiculous shipping charges that are going on these days. Yeah. So yeah, I just had to send something to Denmark the other day. It cost me $74 to pick it up for my friend. It cost me 80 to ship it. And it was coffee.
What? No, that's crazy.
Yeah, my buddy Kenny Hammer and Pretty Maids goes, dude, Starbucks has discontinued. Hi, what are you doing, buddy? Has discontinued this dark roast. I can't get dark roast Starbucks instant coffee in Sweden anymore. Can you pick it up? I know you guys have it over there in Target and Walmart. So I'm like, how many do you need, bro? And he's like, all right, give me 10. So I got him 10. And the shipping was more than the coffee. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. $80 to send one package. I'm like, oh my God.
That's crazy.
I was like, dude, are you sure you want to do this? He said, I'll just put it in a PayPal. I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. So.
Wow. Well, hey, Jimmy from Kickin Valentina, thank you for joining us on this edition of Rock Talk, my friend.
Right on. I appreciate you guys having me.
And thank you again. And we'll catch you again next time on Rock Talk right here on CGCM Rock Radio.